Today on the channel, I got the power and the glory with Zombie Sailor Toys, Heels and Faces, Hercules, Paul Roma, power and glory.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Zombie Sailor Toys, Heels and Faces, unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we got Hercules, we got Paul Roma, we got the power and the glory. But of course, for all your power and glory needs, probably better hit up Heels and Faces Zombie Sailor Toys, as this was an exclusive and I believe it has since sold out. So if you want this one, you're probably stuck to eBay, as there are only 1,500 of these made, and this was one of those Black Friday surprise drops. Now, however, we did get Hercules and Paul Roma back, of course, from Zombie Sailor in another series there. So this is a bit of a repaint with a twist, which, of course, got to get the most out of your molds. We know how that goes. And Power and Glory, not just a Saxon song anymore. It, of course, was the tag team of Paul Roma and Hercules. Very, very underrated tag team with one of the all-time great tag team finishers of all time. Superplex off the top with the big splash. I remember as a kid just being blown away by that. And Paul Roma, a guy in the WWF back then that bounced around, kind of a name jobber on the good guys side. And then you had Hercules, of course, mostly known about swinging the chain around. And, of course, losing to the Ultimate Warrior. But, you know, everybody had to take their bumps from the Warrior. But the Hercules was amazing, but kind of towards the end of his little bit of a run, I think his act had grown a little bit tired. So it was a pretty cool idea to put these two together, really made them feel special again, and they didn't go quite as far as I would have liked to seen them go, but man, oh man, what a fun tag team for the run it had. Of course, Slick managing them. Never forget that time of the WWF, so very cool to get figures all these years later of Power and Glory. Would love to see Zombie and his Elite line get some of these, or even Legends deals from Mattel. We really need a Hercules, and I'd even take a Paul Roma in the Elite style. And I got to think there, Zombie Sailor's probably not done with Hercules, as I could see you could easily throw a chain in here, put the trunks to blue or maybe even black if you wanted to, and you could get maybe what most people think of Hercules in the future. So we'll see what happens there. But we know what'll happen in this review. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there, and there it is, Hercules, Paul Roma, Heels and Faces, one of 1,500 limited edition, and I'm opening it up right here on the channel. How about that? Looking good there with Herc and Paul Roma, though. They got the shirts on, just different than the last one, and we will compare those later on in the video, so stay tuned for that. Love the tag team carding here, brings me back to my childhood with the Hasbro days, of course, looking nice there. On the back, got that big cross-sell, got the Ron Rudat drawings, got the UPCs, got the file card. Oh, you know, when I was a kid, I was cutting that out. There's no way around it. Can't wait for the Abdul the Butcher figure. Can't wait for the Road Warriors. A lot of good stuff coming from Zombie, and we'll just sit and wait and wait and wait some more. Herc and Roma, Hercules Hernandez, height 6'1", 275 pounds, origin Tampa, Florida. Paul Roma, height 5'11", weight 235 pounds, from Kensington, New York. Beautiful this time of year, you guys tell me. Roma and Hercules have joined forces to conquer the tag team division. Managed by Slick, nothing will stand in their way of this powerful and glorious duo. They finish off opponents with the Powerplex, a move that's both visually stunning and equally devastating, and it sure is there. A very, very cool one. Of course, got a few recent releases as of late. Got a new Matt Cardona and Chris Candido, Big Bully Busick. Make sure you check out those reviews on the channel, of course. But let's get them off the package here. Always try to keep the card as nice as I can. Gonna try to do it. And what's up with these Zombie Sailor points on the back here? Are we ever gonna be able to clip these and turn these in for a figure? See you later, goodbye. I mean, Valaverse does it, just saying. But let's dive into it. Let's dive in to Hercules, of course. Hercules Hernandez. My first action figure of Hercules, of course, was his old school LJN, which was very confusing for young Kyle. I'm like, why is he in this Roman gladiator stuff? And of course, being like 4 years old, I said, what's a Roman gladiator? I'm sure that's what I said. But I remember just thinking, why does he look so much different than how he is on TV. And I guess he was in TV in that gimmick very briefly and then moved on to what we really think of with Hercules. But I also think of Hercules in this when they adopted the long tights. Always a cool look for these guys here. But it is Hercules in the head. I mean, you could also tell me this is Big Josh, Matt Bourne. There's a lot of guys this guy looks like here. But it looks close enough to Hercules for me to be dangerous. Hercules got some interesting teeth on him, very Neanderthal-like in the teeth department. 2 eyes, 2 ears, a nose and a mouth. He's playing those human hits. Got the soft goods shirt. We don't get a lot of soft goods in retro, so it definitely feels different. Thankfully, I do not see any staining. So how can Zombie Sailor make sure his figures don't stain? But we still have issues with AEW and occasionally Mattel. I'm not exactly sure. Jazzware's a Mattel, I should say. But he has got Herc on the shirt right there. I can just see him walking into a Gold's Gym down in Tampa wearing a shirt like this. You know, just a half cut off shirt. He's ready to pump some iron, that's for sure. Looking good down here. Got Herc on the trunks or the tights. And then you got a little bit of that lightning. You got the white boots with the red trim looking good. He's got the jazz hands because Hercules was always known for his sick dance moves back there. If Tik Tok was a thing in the 80s and 90s, Hercules wouldn't even be wrestling. He'd have 1 billion followers. That's what he would have, I am sure. Articulation arms go all the way around for us. You do get the hands back and forth for all that Hercules jazz hand action you want. Got to have that there. Head back and forth, waist back and forth. And of course will fit on a ringside collectible stand, I am pretty sure. Come on, Herc, get in there. Take it. Take that peg. There we go. Hercules ready to go. Ready to jazz hands across the nation. Looking good. Mr. Hercules. But now we move over to old Paul Roma. A lot of hate for Paul Roma over the years, especially around the Horseman time frame. Once again, I was a little kid. It really wasn't the end of the world to me. I was just anxious to see where this incarnation of the Horseman went. But a lot of people do say that was kind of the end of his career in a lot of ways. I guess I could see that, but I don't know. I enjoyed Paul Roma. A lot of house shows as a little kid where the Young Stallions were on there. Of course, Jim Powers, a partner of Paul Roma at the time. But looking good. Looks like Paul Roma. I do feel this head sculpt is better than the Hercules head sculpt for those keeping track at home. Got 2 Fists of Fury over here for Paul Roma. Looking good. Beautiful positioning on this one. One of the greatest playability stylizations of course, these retro style figures is this one. I always think back to when I was a kid. How easy would it be to play with? This would be a one to have a lot of fun with for sure. But looking good. Got the white wrist tape going on. You got the same trunks down there. Once again, tights down there. How about? But it does say Roma, and then you got the lightning effects on the opposite side to make it feel a little bit different. Black knee pads. Got the same boots going down there with the red trim looking nice. 2 Fists of Fury for Roma. I can't believe it. He's ready to just throw punches and munches, I guess. Looking very good. Articulation can be identical to Hercules. We know how that goes. And then we do get the soft shirt as well. He's got the Roma on there. Is he representing the Roma bread? Is he representing Roma tomatoes? Is he representing the family? I'm not sure exactly what. But we got Roma on there looking good in the black, of course. And he as well should fit on a ringside stand. He takes the hole a lot easier in the peg in there than Hercules did, that's for sure. But looking good. Power and Glory back again. Pretty good on Power and Glory retro figures now. I don't think there's any more meat on the bone for these. But a solo career Hercules I would definitely take. And I would definitely take Elite style figures of these two down the line. Hopefully that does happen. But how about Hercules and Roma once again? Very, very similar as you can imagine here. Obviously, it is basically just a fancy repaint is what it is. A few extra bells and whistles. You give a different shirt color. You get a different trunks and tights combination. And outside of that, you got the same figures. But this was limited edition on a 2-card pack, which made it pretty fun for all intents and purposes. Definitely a fun pack. But I can see if you have this one, maybe you don't need to go this extra mile to get this one. But I think that's where Zombie was smart and made probably a whole lot less of these than these two. Makes all the sense to me. Maybe it does for you as well. So there it is. The power and the glory. Like a young Biff Byford from Saxon. There it is. But what are your guys' thoughts? Pickups, passes, long game, no game? What are you thinking about this power and glory? Let me know in the comments down below. You made it this far, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bells. We got videos every single day. And then some. We got even more content for you, of course, over there on Patreon. Patreon, best way to support this YouTube channel. And all the content it does bring, so much content, it'll make your head spin. Check it out, of course. Pro Wrestling Tees, check that out. Search Kyle Peterson. Sir Paul64 on the X, the _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, and of course now on TikTok. And my book, now available on Kindle. It is the complete guide to the Jakks Class Superstars series by yours truly. So for Roma and Hercules, the power and the glory, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.